It's Euro roundup time, everybody. Chris Hamill's still doing that secret shoot, so you got me and Patrick Van Straten. Today we are kicking off with winners. Is Bayern Munich. This was sent in by Sam and a bunch of numbers.
Yeah, 547070607. He's a robot. Anyway, Bayern thrashed Hanover 4-0 away from home. Goals from Kimmich, Alaba, Gnabry and Lewandowski. They really did need to pick up in form after a disastrous November, in which they lost one and drew 2 of their league fixtures. They've now won 3 on the bounce to ease a bit of pressure on Kovac. 3 games against Werder Bremen, Nuremberg and Hanover. They've scored 8, conceded 1. And when you see the stats for this game, they're like old Bayern. They're obscene. 72% possession, 33 shots.
Nearly as good as Liverpool there.
Nearly as good as Liverpool against Man United. 14 on target, though. And Hanover had 3 shots with none on target. XG had the game at 3.8 to 0.6.
Wow.
That's outrageous. That's like Barcelona versus Levante, basically. Anyway, it's a good way to get into the Christmas period, but it can't really disguise the fact that it's been a bad first half to the season. At this stage last year, they'd won 11, drawn 2, lost 2, scored 35, conceded 11. This year, they've won 9, drawn 3, lost 3, scored 32 and conceded 18.
Wow.
So that's a big drop, especially seeing as last year they weren't happy with Ancelotti.
Yeah.
But yeah, their opponents, a really bad day for them.
Yeah, Hanover, a really bad day and a really bad season so far. Obviously, last year they finished 13th, 6 points clear of relegation. But this year, they've won just 2 of the opening 15 Bundesliga matches and sit firmly at the bottom of the table. But if you dig a little deeper, look at some of their underlying numbers, they're not all bad. They are conceding nearly 15 shots a game, which is a clear negative.
That's horrible.
They're taking 13 shots a game, which is actually only better by 7 teams in the whole Bundesliga. So they just need to tighten up a little bit at the back if they want to steer clear of relegation. But the result, like you talked about, never really in doubt in this game. This was an old school Bayern pumping, and Joshua Kimmich was the man who opened the scoring after just 63 seconds. That kind of set the tone for the match. He now has 27 league contributions to goals in the last year and a half.
What?
27. So for comparison, you look at somebody like Danny Carvajal. Carvajal has contributed to 7.
Oh my God.
Kimmich has contributed to 27. That is mind-blowing.
That's obscene.
Isn't it? He had an all-round fantastic day as well, Joshua Kimmich. 4 tackles and interceptions, 93% pass accuracy. Obviously that goal, and get this one, 8 key passes. 8 key passes.
So better than Messi. Better than Messi.
Messi produced 7 on the weekend, scored a hat-trick and got 2 assists.
Wow, well that seems a normal thing for a right back to do.
Absolute freak. The whole team was excellent. I also want to point out Thiago stood out to me. 97% pass accuracy, 4 tackles and interceptions. Just the 8 dribbles on the day, 3 key passes and 2 shots. This was a really important Bayern Munich victory in their December fixture period because they are pretty tough. They've got RB Leipzig, who are 4th in the league. Then they've got Frankfurt, who are 5th. And finally, Hoffenheim are 6th coming up. So a tough December for Bayern, but a great victory. And yet another brilliant performance by Joshua Kimmich.
First losers of the week are Monaco. Permanent fixtures at this point. Copy and paste. This is from @Gary1435. Thierry Henry. Horrible job.
Yes, he is in dire straits, isn't he, after they lost 3-0 to Lyon at the weekend, their 4th loss in 5 games. They're 1 point above bottom of the league at this stage. I believe they've won 3 games all season. They are so bad. Let's not forget this is a team that finished runners-up last season. They were champions the season before that. They're now 1 from bottom, 13 points from 17 games. Get this one as well. They've conceded 45 goals in all competitions this season, the worst of any side in Europe's top 5 leagues. The top 5 leagues, that includes Spal.
Spal,
It's
Levante.
disgraceful. And it's not like they're making opportunities at the other end either. 1 shot on target in this one. I think Yuri Tielemans was actually the only player in the whole 11 to have more than 1 shot at all. It wasn't helped even by Golovin, who was sent off at 47 minutes for a ridiculous tackle, by the way. It is disgusting on Naby Fekir. Rightly a red card. And Henry laid into his players. Their 10th defeat of the season, criticising them for a lack of fight on the pitch, and quite frankly, they're a disgrace right now. Luckily for Thierry, they face bottom of the league Guingamp in the next fixture, and if they don't win that, he's gone.
Jesus Christ. This is the thing. If I were going to buy a player out of the French league this season, I was looking at their stats, I'd be like, let's take out the Monaco stats. Because I'm looking at the shot numbers for this game.
It's ridiculous.
And Hossam Aouar, who is a midfielder, 5 shots, 4 on target.
How?
So you're going to start thinking that he does that all the time. And 2 key passes as well. Let's just say that. Lyon had 75% possession in this game. Nabil Fekir, 100% of his shots were on target. 6 key passes, obviously got a goal. This shows how dominant they are. Furlong Mendy, he's a fullback. 3 shots, 1 on target, 1 key pass.
Wow, that's almost Joshua Kimmich numbers.
Absolutely mental. Memphis Depay didn't get a goal, though he had 5 attempts, but completed 2 key passes. They made 500 passes more than Monaco in this game.
That is so outrageous.
500 passes more. That's absolutely staggering. Anyway, the race to the French title is basically over. You know, PSG are 10 points clear with 2 games in hand, but Lyon's win puts them in third, just 3 points behind Lille. So it's interesting times at the top of the table, but I think we're all looking at the bottom, and I'm absolutely fascinated to see what Monaco do after they inevitably sack Thierry Henry.
Our next winners are ridiculous this week. Ajax, sent in by Red Roof.
There have been some absolute poundings this week, and the Eredivisie normally has a few of them. Ajax managed to stay within 2 points of Eredivisie leaders PSV this weekend by beating the Graafschap 8-0.
8-0.
It's their biggest home victory since 2001 when they hammered Sparta Rotterdam 9-0.
8-0. We're in 2018 and teams are still winning 8-0.
Unbelievable. And of course, they drew 3-3 with Bayern in midweek, so they cannot stop scoring. And 2 players got hat-tricks in this game, but we're going to start with a couple of others. Dusan Tadic opened the scoring on the 18th minute. Amazing it took them that long. That's the 9th goal he's got in 16 appearances in the league. Then Mazraoui made it 2-0, his first goal of the season, also got his first assist. But, and this is an indication of dominance, Dali Blint got a hat-trick. Former Man United defender bagged 3 goals in the second half, including a long-range thunderbolt into the top corner. Hakim Ziyech, slightly less surprisingly, got 3-2. That brings him to 10 goals and 5 assists in 13 league games this season. An absolutely rampant performance. 35 shots on goal, and you thought that it was ridiculous, the shots on target numbers we were talking about before. They had 17 shots on target in this game.
That's vile, disgusting.
The opponents only managed 3 shots on goal. They had 74% possession, Ajax, and recorded double the number of passes of their opponents with 954.
How is that legal?
They've lost 1, drawn 1 of their 17 league games this season. I mean, this is staggering. This is like unfair.
It really is. Ten Hag is smashing it with Ajax. They are just so fun to watch. Matthias de Ligt, let's talk about the backline as well, because he scooped up the Golden Boy Award today, didn't he? He kept another clean sheet at an impressive 94% pass success rate. He also managed, Patrick, 6 shots from centre-back. 6 shots Matthias de Ligt took.
What's he up to?
What is he doing? He's doing what he wants at this stage. He's just wandering up the pitch.
He's on Koeman vibes.
I know, he really is. And for a player like Daley Blint to score a hat-trick, you know that it's pretty much a joke affair. This may as well have been a charity match, seriously. Blint on the day obviously contributed to 4 goals. That's more, by the way, than any fullback at Old Trafford this season, even though we sold him in the summer. Not that I'm actually disastrously devastated about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it was pretty good sale, but you know, still a hat-trick. Daley Blint just compiling my misery, really, at the weekend. He also recorded 3 interceptions, 2 clearances, the most on the day for Ajax. One other performance that went under the radar, 21-year-old Van den Beek. The Dutchman recorded 2 assists, making that 9 goal involvements in his last 10 games, with 6 coming from the bench. But the man at the moment, Hakim Ziyech, you touched on him there, playing just 72 minutes, hat-trick and an assist, 7 shots, 9 key passes. 9 key passes. How is that legal? Joshua Kimmich managed 8. 9 key passes, 3 dribbles. Ajax are just flying.
How is he still there?
I don't know. I actually don't know how he's still there. I think he's still there because people are nervous about taking players from the Eredivisie.
Yeah, but I mean, when he was going for about 12, 15 mil, you're like, It probably seems like it's
Probably
a
take a
worthwhile
risk.
risk. He's not even old.
Probably take a risk. He's 25, and Ajax are absolutely flying, aren't they? Next 2 games against Roda and FC Utrecht. I actually think they're probably going to finish top of the table this season.
I think they're better than PSV as well.
I think they're going to finish top of the table, and it's going to be glorious scenes.
Ajax to win the league. You heard it here first.
Come on.
Second and final losers of the week are Celtic, and this comes from Rob Fegan 10. It's always funny to me when Celtic lose because I literally don't know how they manage it.
Yeah, I know. The Europa League hangover hit them pretty hard, I think it's fair to say this time. Even though they did lose to Salzburg midweek, I think that Thursday night fixture came back to bite them pretty badly. A 2-0 loss to Hibernian, seeing them drop to 3rd in the SPFL. How the are Celtic 3rd in the SPFL? Stevie G's Rangers claiming top spot, though I think Celtic do have a game in hand. Celtic actually went behind in this one after just 46 seconds thanks to a Slivka goal. Now Slivka was signed from Juventus by Hibernian.
Amazing, I've never heard of him. I'm stunned.
I mean, he didn't actually play a game, I don't think, but still, Juventus to Hibernian, an interesting career path. He was then taken off injured because Scott Brown, I mean, took 3 of his kneecaps and he's only got 2 of them. He absolutely crunched him, and then I think they had to bring Sean Mackey on. Sean Mackey actually got the assist for the second goal. Beautiful 40-yard crossfield ball before they scored there. Celtic, like I said, that hangover hitting them pretty hard, had to make formational changes. 4 key players out, introducing a back 3 for this game, which is not something Brendan Rodgers usually does, and it kind of played perfectly into Hibernian hands. They were dominant, Celtic. 57% possession, 12 shots, 4 on target, but Hibs were extremely efficient. 7 shots, 6 on target.
Ooh.
So probably deserved winners in this one. I didn't watch it, but statistically on paper, looks like they were deserved winners, Pat.
Yeah, and Celtic now have a kind of crunch period of the season. They've got Rangers away coming up, and they're missing those key players. Christie, Rogic, Tierney out injured. Griffiths obviously out for personal reasons. They've got the Europa League to navigate. By the time you see this, you'll know what their Europa League fixture is. We're not certain at the moment. Could easily see themselves slipping down the table.
Imagine if they don't win the SPFL.
It would actually be amazing.
Like, it would be so good.
It's staggering to me that no one's done 10 in a row in this terrible league. But anyway, a bit of fun for Hibs, who generally speaking probably don't have a very eventful time. They're in mid-table, nothing really interesting for them except trying to beat the big clubs. They've done it to Celtic. They've got Rangers next, so let's see if
come
they can
on,
make
Neil
it
Lennon, step up and do it.
So would it actually be kind of fun if imagine it? Oh, I kind of want so I don't even want them to finish second now. It would be absolutely tremendous.
Imagine if they finished third.
Oh God, please stop it. Celtic fans, let us know how you feel about that in the comments below.
Finishing up with our star of the week now, and it comes from Apollo Gray. It's Marco Reus, Patrick.
Yeah, he helped Dortmund remain at the top of the Bundesliga. 9 points clear now of second place Mönchengladbach after beating Werder Bremen 2-1. Now, obviously finished 4th last season, but they picked up 12 wins and 3 draws from 15 games. So it could be their first German title since Jurgen Klopp was at the helm. Remarkable,
Hopefully.
really. Well, I mean, I think we all would quite like that to happen, yeah. And Marco Reus particularly, I feel like he deserves it at this stage of his career. Now, 16 shots in total, 9 on target. Unsurprisingly, Paco scored as usual, and Marco Reus a very, very nice free kick. He's got 10 goals, 5 assists in 15 games, a direct goal involvement every single game. In this game, he registered double the number of shots of anyone else on the pitch. And Werder Bremen player and ex-teammate Nuri Sahin, remember him, described him as a Ferrari. He said, the problem is Marco playing between the lines. When a Ferrari or Lamborghini plays between the lines, it gets very difficult. Yeah. Interesting mixed metaphors. But it's hard to deny it. And Marco Reus, I think it must be weird for some of our fans who kind of were like, why is this guy on the front cover of FIFA 17 or whatever? Whereas there was a time when Marco Reus was arguably the 3rd best player in the world. Yeah, before his ankles just crumbled into dust. Yeah, just went poof, and they were gone. But yeah, like you said, what a start to the season he's having. Obviously made captain at the start of the season by Lucien Favre. Just generally unplayable. Alongside the likes of Alcacer, who is just on lethal form, like you mentioned there. 100% of the shots he took were on target. 4 key passes. Top goal scorer in the Bundesliga with 11 goals. His goal in this one was only his 2nd as a starter. There was a time when he was scoring every 38 minutes.
in the Bundesliga
What's
this season.
the point?
It's just ridiculous. Jadon Sancho as well, we've got to mention him because he is on the verge of becoming a superstar at this stage. 12 goals in 9 starts, his 7th assist of the season already. How old is he, 17?
He's 18.
18 now, it's just ridiculous. Werder Bremen, on the other hand, struggling somewhat. Only won 1 in their last 6. But you know what? They actually look pretty good on paper, pretty much matching Dortmund for possession and pass success rates, beating their opponents on tackles, and they had more corners. So they weren't shy of chances, 11 attempts on goal. Not a terrible performance, but you know, when you're up against the Borussia Dortmund team that's this efficient, this is just classic Lucien Favre, isn't it? He just always outperforms expected goals models. 2 more games until the winter break. If Dortmund can go in, 9 points clear? Then they stand every chance of winning the Bundesliga title this year.
I will be so excited if they do it. Even though I'm not a Favre fan, I would love Dortmund to do it.
Come on, Dortmund. So that's it for this episode of Euro Roundup. But if you haven't already, make sure you check out Winners and Losers, Pato, where we spoke about...
What did we speak about? Man United, that little match that they played over at Anfield, and Arsenal losing to Southampton. I enjoyed that one as well. Obviously, stay right here as well on Euro Football Daily and check out Stat Wars The League, which is coming to its conclusion. Very exciting times. And make sure that you like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
All right.